Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our meeting. First order is roll call. So Diana, can you do a roll call?
Your Worship, I can confirm that I, Deputy Clerk Diana Wilson, am in attendance at the Township Office. For those participating by video conference, please answer present when your name is called. Mayor Manel,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
Present.
Councillor Woodner,
Present.
Councillor Moore,
Present.
Councillor Cerna,
Present.
Councillor Lewis,
Yes, present.
Councillor Galinsky,
Present.
Chief Administrative Officer Clerk Michelle Casavecchia Summers,
Present.
Director of Public Works Matt Sweetland,
Present.
Director of Development Services Adam Betteridge,
Present.
Director of Finance Arun Mohili,
Present.
Manager of IT Cecil Coxon,
Present.
and that's everyone.
Thanks, Diana. And disclosure of beginner interest and general nature thereof.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Matt.
Under Development Services, severance application E25/21, Marion Wallace. And also under Development Services, severance application E26/21, Marion Wallace.
Thank you, Max. That's so noted.
Thank you.
The minutes from March the 18th, was there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, mover and seconder for those minutes, please.
I'll move.
Cerna and Moore, all in favor?
Councillor Widner,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Cerna,
Yes.
Councillor Lewis,
Yes.
Councillor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes.
carried.
Thank you. And the special meeting on March 25th, was there any errors or omissions on that one? Mover and seconder for those minutes, please.
Jaguar, I'll move.
Jaguar, seconder.
I'll second it.
Lewis, all in favor?
Councillor Widner,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Cerna,
Yes.
Councillor Lewis,
Yes.
Councillor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Next, we have a presentation from the Police Services Board. Welcome, Sally and Julie. I'll turn it over to you folks for the presentation.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you allowing us to come and speak to you. The only reason the police services are doing this is because we were asked to by the CAOs. So it's really a municipal one, but we'll get through with it. I assume, Julie, are you sharing the screen or?
Yes, she is.
It's disabled right now. Peaceful.
Your worship, I can share the screen if they wish of the presentation, or all the members of council have it in their packages for reference. It's entirely up to you, your worship, how you wish to proceed.
Whatever you like, Julie.
Sally, a preference?
I would prefer if we can share the screen, that's all.
Okay, we'll do
No
that.
problem. Just give me one moment here to pull it up and then I can share it. Actually, Julie, if you've got it there, I can just give you rights. My apologies. 1 second. There, you should be good now.
Not yet, Michelle.
Here it comes.
Okay,
Winding up.
there we go.
Success?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, thank you. So I appreciate the fact that you've invited us and allowed us to come and speak to you. I am, as you know, Sally Martin, and I happen to be the chair of the Elgin Group Police Services Board. I'm joined tonight by our vice chair, Ida McCollum, and Ida is the West Elgin rep on the board, and by Julie Gagne, who's our secretary administrator. We're here to gather your feedback on the ministry's proposed changes to the Ontario Police Services Board composition. Next slide, please. The Ministry of the Solicitor General sent notice to all municipal governments and First Nations that Ontario Provincial Police detachment boards under the Community Safety and Policing Act are to be developed and submitted in the next 2.5 months. While the Community Safety and Policing Act has not yet been enacted, it's anticipated that it will come into effect in early January of 2022. The Community Safety and Policing Act is aimed at providing all municipalities who are receiving OPP municipal policing with greater civilian governance by ensuring each municipality has the opportunity to present their local perspectives, needs, and priorities. It's anticipated that the Community Safety and Policing Act will also increase the responsiveness and transparency of OPP policing in these communities. Next slide, please. Municipalities are tasked with determining a preferred composition of their detachment board by submitting a proposal to the ministry. The ministry has made it clear that we, the 6 municipalities served by the OPP, are required to work together to develop and submit one proposal detailing our board's composition moving forward. When we submit, we aren't required to identify individuals, but must identify the number of seats each municipality will be allocated, the number of community representatives, and the number of provincial appointments. We've been cautioned that if we aren't able to reach consensus, the ministry will determine the composition of our board. I suspect we want to avoid that. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, the ministry launched the process on March 18th. This was with the last one, sorry. 2021, the proposal is due on June the 7th of 2021, and we expect to receive a response from the ministry by the fall of 2021 for a January 2022 rollout. June 7th will be upon us. Julie, Ida, and I will be visiting all the local councils until the 3rd week of April. This leaves us with approximately 4 weeks to obtain council resolutions and complete the application. We have a small but mighty board. Our 5-member board is comprised of 1 elected representative from East Elgin, alternating between the Township of Malahide and the municipality of Bayham. That is Dan Froese at present from Bayham. 1 elected representative from Central Elgin. 1 community representative from West Elgin, appointed by the townships of Southold, the municipality of Dutton Dunwich, and the municipality of West Elgin, as well as 2 provincial appointees. Next slide, please. Elgin's Police Services Board was established in 2005. The county provides administrative and financial services to this board. Our board currently meets all of the minimum requirements of the proposal and is what I would consider to be a high-functioning board. It is certainly a board that I'm proud to serve on. Last year, we were invited to participate in roundtable discussions, and we quickly discovered that our board was the envy of many of our neighbors. For example, our neighbors in Middlesex County, with the exception of the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc, who like Elmer has its own police services, has only 1 provincial police board in Thames Centre. The remaining municipalities are not represented on this board. From my perspective, we're seeing this imposed change in board composition to ensure municipalities are working together, something we are proud of as a county to have been doing this for the last 16 years. Next slide. Sorry, for what it is worth, my opinion is that our current composition of 5 strikes a balance between too few and too many board members. We don't have any attendance issues. Our members are engaged in productive dialogue, engaged directly with OPP leadership on critical issues facing our community. Our members understand our role, protocols, and expectations, and we're open to dialogue. Over the past 4 years, all members actively participate in the Ontario Police Services Board Association regional meetings, which we're in zone 6, and seminars and conferences. There are many ways of measuring a board's performance, and I recognize that these indicators do not necessarily provide a comprehensive list of what constitutes good governance. We've not conducted a formal evaluation of our board's performance to date. Admittedly, this process has come up very quickly for our municipalities, and we currently don't have time or resources to conduct a formal evaluation before our joint submission is due. Next slide. Essentially, what we're here to do tonight is to gather feedback about whether there is an interest in maintaining the status quo or adding more representatives. Once we visited all local councils, we will share this feedback with your council and propose a structure for Elgin's Police Services Board. We will seek your endorsement of the proposed structure, and Julie Gonyu, in her capacity as the Secretary Administrator, will submit one application on behalf of our whole county. I will now turn things over to Julie to cover the remainder of the presentation.
Thank you. So the Police Services Board scope is actually quite limited, and it includes selection of the detachment commander. Generally, the Police Services Board members are able to determine objectives and priorities following consultation with the detachment commander. The PSB is able to establish any local policies with respect to police services, but not OPP policies, of course. The PSB monitors the performance of the detachment commander and receives quarterly updates from the commander. And they're able to review the detachment commander's administration of the complaints system. And that essentially summarizes their role. Before you is the total OPP budget, and the budget figures are incorrect, but the percentages are actually correct. And I appreciate that Councillor Giguère pointed this out today. So I can walk you through the corrections. So the total OPP budget should be $6,275,549. What you see before you is the baseline. And so I'll share the total for 2020. Central Elgin's contribution is about 34%, $2.13 million. Bayham contributes 15%, 922,000. West Elgin contributes 15%, 987,000. Southwold contributes just over 10%, or 614,000. Malahide contributes 17%, nearly 1.03 million, and Dutton Dunwich close to 579,000, or 9%. The current composition, as previously detailed, includes 5 representatives, Central Elgin elected official, Eastern Elgin elected official, Western Elgin community rep, and 2 provincial appointees. The new requirements are that the board be comprised of 5 members, a minimum of 5 members with no maximum. 20% of the membership must come from community representatives, and 20% must be provincial appointees. So we currently do meet the minimum requirements of the new board composition. As you can see from this slide, board costs associated with our current 5 representative board is approximately $35,000 a year. We've prepared a couple of alternative models for your consideration, and these are not presented to you as recommended options, but rather they're conversation starters. The first model that I'll present includes enhanced elected official and citizen representation. And in this model, each municipality served by OPP has the opportunity to appoint an elected official, and Central Elgin, as well as Eastern Elgin, Western Elgin would have the opportunity to appoint a citizen appointee. The provincial appointees remain at 2 members in this model. And to give you some sense of cost, a board with 11 representatives would increase board costs by 54% and would require an additional investment of about $30,000. Another approach that may be of interest to you is to try to assign representation based on contribution. You'll see that this model includes 9 representatives with an elected official and citizen representative from Central Elgin, one Eastern Elgin elected official alternating between Bayham and Malahide, as well as one citizen representative from Eastern Elgin, one Western Elgin one Western Elgin elected official alternating between Southold, West Elgin, and Dutton Dunwich, as well as one citizen representative from Western Elgin, two provincial appointees, and an additional citizen representative to ensure we have an odd number and don't have the issue of tie votes. So the costs associated with a 9-member board would be about $58,000. As you can imagine, there are dozens of different models that can be considered. And while this process does offer municipalities the opportunity to increase representation or change the composition of the current PSB board, it's important to evaluate whether there's a need to change the current composition. And also important to keep in mind that if some municipalities desire a change in composition while other municipalities don't, then we could get into a bit of an issue with trying to figure out who pays for what. So that's why it's important that as soon as we receive this notice, we prepared to come out and speak to each municipal council who's served by OPP so that we have adequate time to prepare our community submission. So in general, we're here to gather your feedback about whether status quo is working for the municipality of Malahide or the township of Malahide, and whether you're recommending something different. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Your Worship, for having us today, and we're pleased to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Julie and Sally, for your presentation. I'm a big proponent of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I have not heard one comment about any negatives about the Police Services Board. Unfortunately, I suspect that probably 95% of Malahide is not aware that there's a Police Services Board. So I'm going to suggest to council that we postpone a decision on this till our next council meeting. That will give us enough time to talk to our residents, see what their opinion is, and then have a recommendation on our second meeting in April, if that's sufficient with you.
Let me.
Dominique?
Yeah, so Mr. Mayor, can we still have a discussion with about the presentation today?
Certainly. I'm just suggesting that we don't make a decision tonight based on what we've had.
Right, and would this time that we take for consulting, would that fit with the timing, I guess? So I know I realize the timelines are tight, so but I'm very much in favor of getting some input.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Giguère, that does work for our submission deadlines for sure.
Any other, Rick?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mr. Mayor, that you don't change just for the sake of change. You change because you need to change. And right now, I mean, it's clear sailing. We've got good service. Our residents have told us that already. So yeah, I'm not in favor of making a decision right now about it either. I just think that we should study it, but I don't see the need for a change.
Just a question, Sally and Julie. Has the province indicated that if we increase the size of the board, that they're willing to fund that, or is that on our dime?
That's on our dime.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Dominique?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, maybe to Sally or Julie. So I'd like to look at the budget. So when I compare to other boards, I find it very, very high. And I also note that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but and I know the compensation is regulated by the province, and I believe the actual recommended amount, or at least it's the minimum amount, is $300 per year per member. So I don't know the history, but I do find the expenditure very high. And I would hate to consider or base our recommendation for and our opportunity for additional representation because of fear of increasing the budget. I appreciate that you provided actuals of spending for, I think for the last 4 or 5 years. And I note in your actuals, for example, that the development budget, to the tune, the numbers are presented in the financials differently than in the PowerPoint, but there's, let's just say there's $14,000 on the table left every year. And this, so, and that's typical. I'm not surprised. Like I find like a lot, I find the, I don't know why the compensation is that much higher and than what is recommended by the province. But also when we need to compare, I think, for example, the health board with 12 members, I believe, and an oversight of $20 million, I believe has a budget for the board of 35,000. So why couldn't we have a, for example, scenario C with 11 representatives for 35,000? So I don't know if you have any comments on why the budget is so high.
Well, as you said, we don't spend that budget. It was the budget, like the salaries that the committee each get, the 1,500 and the 2,000 for the chair. Those were all set. We have never discussed those as a committee. That was all set previously. Because I have no control over policing budget, I don't know about this one. I'm assuming this was set up. Julie, you may know more of the history of that from 2005, that I'm not sure why those numbers were chosen. We don't, you may notice through the actuals that no one's even claimed mileage, even though I know Ida drove and she took both of us to a conference in Sarnia, but nobody has claimed mileage, even though they have the right to. So I'm not sure exactly why it is, but many budgets, as you know, we budget it, but we don't totally spend it. So I'm not exactly certain why it's that much. I'd be quite happy if I didn't get anything. It's fine with me. I'm not here for any money whatsoever, as far as I get quite adequate pay through the county in my own municipality.
So as a follow-up, Mr. Mayor, so I just want to make sure that council is clear that there is a possibility that we could achieve additional representation. We do spend $1 million, a big ticket item for us, and we could benefit from additional representation. We know from our recent discussions about Aylmer Police that our residents very much care about this service, and you're aware they may not know of this opportunity. So I just want everybody to know that there might be an opportunity to, without spending more money, to actually achieve additional representation.
Just so that you are aware, you have a member, actually a citizen of Malahide Township, is one of the provincial appointees. David Jenkins is the one of the provincial appointees, and he is, so you have someone at the moment, even though he's not your choice, you have Dan Froese from Bayham as the councillor, but you also have Dave Jenkins, who's been appointed by the province.
But to be fair to Mr. Jenkins, even his role as a provincial appointee is not appointed by, as you said, by Malahide, and he's not there to represent solely Malahide. He's representing the county. So to keep that in mind as well.
Okay, any other comments or questions to either Sally or Julie? Seeing none, as I said, I think we'll make a decision on our second meeting in April. That'll give us opportune time to talk to our residents. So at the time being, I need a mover and seconder. Presentation received from Sally Martin, Elgin Police Service Board Chair, and Julie Gagnon, Elgin Police Service Board Secretary Treasurer, relating to the new Ontario Provincial Police Detachment Board framework under the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019 be received.
I'll move it.
Moved by Serna, seconder
Second.
by Widner. All in favor?
Councillor Widner,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Serna,
Yes.
Councillor Lewis,
Yes.
Councillor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes.
carried.
Thank you, ladies. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Okay, the next we have correspondence from the Solicitor General. Are you looking after that, Julie? Or Julie? Sorry,
Yeah,
Michelle.
that's okay. No worries, Your Worship. Yes, I just wanted to let council know that our fire chief is also our CEMC, so our Community Emergency Management Coordinator, and is responsible for ensuring that Malahide meets annual compliance requirements. And this correspondence just confirms that all of the necessary aspects of that compliance package have been submitted and maintained for 2020, and the EMO is now confirming that. So just an information item for council.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Questions for Michelle on this one? Seeing none. Mover and seconder. Correspondence received from the Ministry of Solicitor General dated March 30th, 2021, confirming Malahide's compliance with the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act 2020 be received.
I'll move it.
Moved by Lewis, seconder.
I'll second.
Galinsky, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
yes,
Mayor Manal,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Next we have Ontario Clean Water. Who's looking after that one? Matt, are you here? or-
Yes. Yep, I'm right here.
All right,
See me now. Yes, good evening, Your Worship and Council. I do have 3 reports for you this evening. The first of which relates to an amendment of the Aqua sewer operations contract, which I can give a brief synopsis of. So the old pumping station that was located at the Ontario Police College was prior owned by Infrastructure Ontario and managed by the town of Elmer and operated by the Ontario Clean Water Agency. So as the new pumping station has now been completed and the ownership has been transferred to the township, the contractual arrangement can therefore change, which requires a change order to the existing service agreement with Aqua for operating the township's sewage works from Springfield. So the township's current 5-year agreement with Aqua is set to expire at the end of 2022. So rather than reopen contract terms, this operation can simply be added as a change order. In the prior contractual agreement, the township paid the town of Elmer actual costs for proportional operations of the old pumping station by Aqua, where now the township, as the owner, would simply pay Aqua directly. So this change order cites just over $31,000, which is actually only about a $10,000 increase than the prior operating costs, as the actual operating cost expenses were already being paid, albeit through Elmer. So this operating agreement is enclosed with the staff report, which largely includes the required regulatory monitoring, reporting, the emergency services, and preventative maintenance. And staff are very pleased with Aqua's ability and do recommend that council endorse staff to proceed with adding the OPC pumping station to the township's existing Aqua agreement for the sewage works. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
okay, thanks, Matt. Questions for Matt on the pumping station? Seeing none, mover and seconder, report number PW 2120 entitled Contract Amendment, Ontario Clean Water Agency be received. That mayor and CAO clerk be authorized to amend the existing agreement with the Ontario Clean Water Agency for the Springfield sanitary system to include the new OPC sewage pumping station for the remainder duration of the existing agreement.
Move it.
Moved by Moore, seconder,
Second it.
Lewis, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
yes,
Mayor Manal,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. And Matt, you're doing the asphalt tender?
That's correct. So this report is brought for council's information, which is similar to the granular supply contract the township solicits annually, whereby staff obtain unit rate pricing for materials, which in this case being hot mix and cold mix asphalt for maintenance use. So the unit pricing received from the noted 5 suppliers is attached to the report, and staff may now utilize these rates on a project-specific basis based on the location, trucking availability, and quantity of product that's required, all ensuring that each project can be completed as equitably as possible. And again, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
How does that compare to previous years, Matt?
So it's in and around the same as prior years. This hasn't particularly been tracked prior. We typically wouldn't have completed a process like this in the past, where similar to the granular, where this year we decided to go out to tender because there is a number of asphalt plants being bought up by other companies. So we chose to solicit unit pricing that we could use on a project specific basis, similar to how we do granular, where in the past we would have picked a supplier and gone with them for the year. So we don't have a direct comparator yet, but we will going forward now.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Questions for Matt? Seeing none, mover and seconder report number PW 2121 entitled Tender Results 2021 Asphalt Supply Be Received.
I'll move it.
Moved by Galinsky, seconded by Jager. All in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Matt, the pressing line?
Yes, so the last report I have for you this evening is, so as council is aware, the staff are proceeding with the Pressy Line Reconstruction Capital Project this year from Walker Road to Pigram Road. And as part of the procurement associated with this project, staff have solicited bulk pricing for all the drainage pipe and appurtenances required, which range from 6-inch pipe up to 1.5 meters diameter, all amounting to the low bid of just over $73,000 from Union Pipe and Supply, and accordingly recommend that this be awarded.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Questions for Matt on the pipe? See none, mover and seconder, report number PW 2123 entitled Pressy Line Reconstruction Drainage Pipe Supply Be Received, and the contract to supply the drainage pipe for the Pressy Line Reconstruction Project be awarded to Union Pipe and Supply, Union, Ontario, the amount of $73,386.40 plus taxes.
Move it.
Moved by Moore, seconder,
Second it.
Lewis, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Adam, are you, there you are. You got a number of severances coming up.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, members of council. There's 4 applications that were sent to the township from the county. Each of the applications are for surplus farmhouse severances. The first application is for Dawson. It's staff is recommending that the township forward a recommendation approving the severance to the county. I will note on this first Dawson recommendation that there is a barn proposed to be retained somewhat within 20 meters close to the proposed severed dwelling parcel. My only comments, and I've provided commentary in my report, would be about a compatibility and ensuring that the barn isn't capable of housing livestock. So that's, I've drafted a condition that is recommended to be imposed. And I'm also wanting to make sure that with regards to access on the retained farm, how that's going to occur. So just simply ensuring that the barn and whatever it's going to be used for in the future, likely, assumably for general storage, but is compatible with what's going to become a nearby neighboring residential property on a separate property. So nothing further to add to that report.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Questions for Adam on this severance? Okay, so recommendation by staff, and there's 9 conditions, so a mover and seconder for that one.
I'll move it.
Moved by Cerna, seconder
Second it.
by Widner, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Now Zimmer application.
Yes, so the only items that I wish to raise about this application is the fact that the retained parcel will not meet the minimum lot size criteria of the zoning bylaw, so that'll need to be recognized through a site-specific zoning amendment when we go through that typical rezoning process for surplus farmland severance. Also, this property will, it's not a township requirement, but will have likely have road widening given to the county, as it says frontage on a county road.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Questions for Adam on the Zimmer severance? Recommendation with 8 conditions, so mover and seconder of this one.
I'll move it.
Moved by Widner, seconder,
I'll second it.
Cerna, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
yes,
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Now, the next one is the, who is this doing? The Wallace. Go ahead,
Right,
Adam.
so this subject application is actually 2. I've baked 2 applications into one report for council this evening. Our official plan does speak to the fact that when we're dealing with the surplus farm dwelling severance application, that only one dwelling can be severed. And in this case, the applicant is severing 2 dwellings on the subject property. I've reviewed the subject property. It appears both dwellings were established lawfully. It's not a unique scenario where there's 2 illegal dwellings on the property and how can they possibly be severed. But I do believe that the intent, and I've got commentary in my report, was that when we're dealing with 2 dwellings, it's the home farms to be kept by the farmer, but that farmer can sever the surplus dwelling. But in this case, I believe it's unique, but it still meets the intent of our official plan and support both applications to sever the existing dwellings from this property. One of the dwellings does also have a barn similar to the Dawson application. I've provided the same commentary with regards to ensuring that barn isn't capable of housing livestock. It's quite close to the severed dwelling lot.
Okay, thanks, Adam. So any questions on either one of these? It's E25 or E26? Recommendation by staff, and there's 9 conditions on E25 and 8 conditions on E26. So mover and seconder for those, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Widner, seconder by Jiguer, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
yes,
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. One more, Adam, the development agreement on a minor variance.
Yes, so council will recall the previous meeting sitting as the Committee of Adjustment approving a minor variance subject to a number of conditions, one of which required a development agreement to ensure that the proposed enlarged accessory structure, which is going to contain a home occupation, indeed is operated and used in accordance with meeting our zoning bylaw. So I did provide the Committee of Adjustment with a draft of the agreement, and for the most part, the same, well, specifically the same criteria, the clauses within the agreement are the same. Only slight changes dealing with legal description as a result of the recent severance of the property. But other than that, the agreement is in front of council for execution, and this will allow the applicants for the minor variance to satisfy all conditions and finalize that application.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Questions for Adam on the development agreement? Seeing none, mover and second, report number DS2119 entitled Development Agreement Minor Variance Approval, number D13MV01021 of David and Jacqueline Fair be received. The draft development agreement between the township and David and Jacqueline Fair, affected lands described as concession 9, part lot 34, part lot 2, reference plan 11R5951, known as municipally as 53250, College Line be approved. Mover and seconder, please.
Move it.
Moved by Lewis, seconder,
I'll second it.
second by Galinsky, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
yes,
Mayor Manel,
Yes.
carried.
All right, we'll move on to correspondence. We got a whack of correspondence, 24 items. One even including somebody that wants to run with a criminal record for township, but I'll leave it up to you. Is there any ones you wish to endorse or promote?
You can't run for council if you have a criminal record, Mr. Mayor?
Well, that's what they're suggesting. So be
I didn't
careful,
know.
Rick.
I didn't know that.
Careful, careful.
Shut up now, Rick. I have a couple if I could.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Number 6, it's Plimpton, Wyoming, and they want to have farmers exempt from paying the carbon tax.
Yep.
I don't think that's a bad idea with the cost of fuel and everything, and the cost of dry things.
I know the OFA and CFA are working on that to try to promote that. So certainly, I think that's worth endorsing.
I would support that.
Yes.
And number 17, cannabis consultation. It's a lady in Norfolk. I guess there's a consultation period open right now. I know in our own municipality, we've had a couple problems lately. And I don't know, Adam can maybe speak to this better, but apparently we're not even notified when one of these grow ops goes into our municipality. The fire department's not notified, the police aren't notified, or haven't been notified. And we've got one out there right now that's probably within 30 feet of a residence, and it's causing some problems. So I think we need to put our voice to the federal government or whoever looks after this and tell them we need to know about some of this stuff when it happens. So,
Adam?
Yes, through you, your worship. I don't disagree with Councillor Widner. I think I raised this to Michelle, that it was odd that we were receiving this correspondence from a resident in Norfolk County, not directly from Health Canada. So that I've become aware that no, we don't typically get notified or at all from Health Canada when these licenses are issued. There are avenues that we can take, and we have staff who are experienced in the cannabis. And we're fortunate for that, and we are paying attention to what is and isn't happening, and are focusing some attention to that.
Okay, thanks, Adam. And I agree with you. So we're endorsing number 6 and number 17. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, actually, to that same topic, number 10 speaks to that the communication with the police and municipality, right?
Falls in line with number 17. So I
Yeah.
agree that it's kind of one in the same parcel.
right.
So 6, 10, and 17 are endorsed. There's a number we have endorsed previously. Anything else? Mover and seconder for that then, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Serna, seconder,
I'll second it.
Widner, all in favor.
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jaguar,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. The Kettle Creek Conservation Authority membership application. Who was speaking to that one?
I can address that, your worship.
Go ahead.
We have received the correspondence that was included in the councilors' agenda packages. There have been some recent changes to the Conservation Authorities Act, and with respect to appointments or representation from municipalities. And Kettle Creek is asking the municipality to confirm that it is satisfied with the current membership, and that be maintained, and that also the membership be reevaluated based on population data prior to the municipal elections in 2022. So there is a recommendation in your agenda package this evening, and Kettle Creek is looking for that endorsement and that support in moving forward with that recommendation.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Questions for Michelle on the representation? Dominique?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor, just as a note of comparison, So here's another board where we have full membership, and our levy to Kettle Creek is $7,000. So earlier we were talking about, $1 million service, and with no direct representation. So yes, I fully support what Kettle Creek is recommending. It is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
You just leave well enough alone. I think Kettle Creek's doing a good job with the representation they have. Why the government's stepping in here, and again, too, I would say that these are recommendations that really don't apply to the smaller CAs. And I would just, like you said earlier, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
Okay,
leave it
thank you.
alone. I agree with what they're doing and what they're saying, and more power to them. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be reevaluated in 2022. So the present time, we'll see where it goes. So any other questions or comments? Recommendation before you from Kettle Creek, mover and seconder.
Move it.
Moved by Moore, seconder, Jagger, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. And Solicitor General, Michelle, are you dealing with that one?
Yes, your worship. This correspondence is in relation to your delegation that you received earlier this evening about potential changes to the OPP detachment boards. So this is the formal correspondence the municipality has received, as is indicated by the delegation earlier. Completed proposals already been submitted by June 7th. So council has already indicated they'll consider this further at the next meeting. Staff will ensure that this item is put back on the agenda for your next meeting, but it's really just for your information at this point. There is a hope that there will be a consolidated approach from all of the lower tier municipalities that are involved in the Elgin detachment, and that all of them will be supportive of the same direction at the end of this consultation period.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Questions for Michelle? We've kind of been through this. So mover and seconder, receive and file.
Move it.
Widner and Lewis, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. And Water Board, Michelle?
Yes, your worship, I can speak to that one as well. So we've received recent correspondence that the Board of Management of the Elgin Area Water Supply System has reviewed its bylaws with respect to the appointment of members to the Board of Management. Currently, Malahide, BAM, and the town of Almer act jointly, and there is an ability to appoint one member, as well as we currently have one alternate representative. Now the new bylaw will allow for 2 alternate members to participate on the Board of Management, recognizing that only one member at any given time has the ability to actually vote. But in the event that that normal voting member is not available, an alternate would be able to sit in their place and act on behalf of all of the respective municipalities. So they're looking for feedback from each of the municipalities that is involved, that being Malahide, BAM, and Almer, as to whether or not we wish to appoint a second alternate member. Currently, the representatives are Pete Barber, who is from Almer, and Rainey Weisler, that is from BAM. So there would be an ability as well, if we wish to appoint a Malahide representative, to also sit as an alternate member. The secondary boards have had a brief discussion about it, and my understanding is that they're going to be considering it further at their next meeting. And so our recommendation as staff is that this matter be referred to the secondary board to have a discussion there and determine whether or not it makes sense to appoint a second alternate representative, as they're the ones that deal with the issues on a regular basis rather than the township as a whole.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
For your worship, if I might just point out, attached in your agenda was correspondence received from the town of Almer indicating that it was supportive of appointing a Malahide representative as an alternate, if we so desired. And I just received correspondence, I believe yesterday, from the town of, or from the municipality of Bayham as well, indicating that they were supportive too. But staff's recommendation are still that we refer this to the secondary board and allow them to make the decision there and report back to us if that's necessary.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. Questions for Michelle on this one? Seeing none, the recommendation before you, mover and seconder for that.
Move it.
Moved by Winder, seconder
I'll second it.
Cerna, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
We're going-
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Bylaws, mover and seconder, bylaw number 2128, being a bylaw to execute a lease agreement with Her Majesty the Queen and the Right of Ontario, represented by Ontario Fire Marshal relating to the fire safety grant, be given a first, second, third reading, properly signed and sealed.
I'll move it.
Moved by Cerna, seconder
Second it.
Lewis, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. And then second bylaw, bylaw number 21-30, being a bylaw to execute a development agreement with David and Jacqueline Fair relating to the property at part lot 34, concession 9, known municipally as 53250 College Line. First, second, third reading, properly signed and sealed.
Move it.
Cerna, Lewis, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Anything else for open session before we go into closed?
Did we miss number 20?
I don't have it in numbered, Max. Which one are you talking about?
Aqua
Oh, sorry,
acquisition of
sorry.
property on Pressy Line.
Pressy Line, I missed that one, and I must be stuck together. Yep. Thanks, Max.
You're welcome.
Mover and seconder, bylaw number 2129, being a bylaw to authorize the acquisition or property of Pressy Line, be given a first, second, third reading, properly signed and sealed.
Move it.
Moved by Moore, seconder
I'll second it.
Cerna, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you. Now, anything else before we go into closed? Okay, mover and seconder, the council move into closed session at 8:22. Pursuant to section 239-2 of the Municipal Act 2001 is amended, discuss the following. One, the proposed and pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board related to property on Century Line. And two, a labor relations or employee negotiation matter relating to the recruitment of a chief administrative officer. Mover and seconder, please. Jager,
Second.
I'll
it.
second.
Cerna, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Galinsky, Deputy Mayor Jager,
Yes.
Mayor Manel,
Yes,
carried.
thank you.
Okay, your worship, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. We're back out of closed session and a mover and seconder, bylaw number 21-27 being confirmatory bylaw, be given a first, second, third reading, properly signed and sealed.
Move it.
Moved by Moore, seconder,
I'll second it.
Cerna, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Glinski,
Oh.
Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
Yes.
Mayor Mennel,
Yes.
it's carried.
And finally, the mover and second, the council adjourns meeting at 9:22 to meet again on April 22nd at 7:30. Galinsky and Widner, all in favor?
Counselor Widner,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Cerna,
Yes.
Counselor Lewis,
Yes.
Counselor Glinski,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jiguer,
Yes.
Mayor Mennel,
Yes.
that's carried.
Okay, thank you all for attending. Good night, folks. Stay safe.
Good night.
Yep, you too. Take care, guys.